Hey, my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic, where we blend strategy, soul work to help you build a soul aligned life and business that fully supports your soul's mission. In this video, we are talking all about our June forecast. So, in Sidereal Astrology, what is happening in June? What transits do you need to know about? Want to know about, and how to work with these transits. If we have not met yet, hi, my friend. My name is Danie C, Muniz, your inner work alchemist, cosmic mystic, and I am so excited to bring these videos for you. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button, my friend. Be sure to hit that, follow along on the journey because we've got a lot of good stuff going on over here on the channel. All right, let me go ahead and get started with my very favorite thing to do. If you've been around here, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen. And as I do it, I want to remind you that this is both on the YouTube channel, The Cosmic Mystic, and the podcast, The Cosmic Mystic Podcast. So whether you want to see the charts, see me explain all this stuff, or whether you just want to take me in your earbuds as you do that folding of the laundry, washing the dishes, or on that walk you know that you need to take, come along, bring me with you. I love to listen to this while I drive. Just so you know, that's how I like to listen to podcasts and YouTube videos. Yep, I just said it. I watch YouTube videos while I drive. Yes, I do. Okay, let me go ahead and get started with our state of the planets. This is my favorite thing to do to kick off our forecast. And so, you know, if you are new around here, we have the overview, which is what you're watching right now. And we also have weekly forecasts. So every Monday, you'll get the forecast for that week. So I'll tell you what's going on for that specific week. Sometimes you'll hear things that I said in the forecast here, and sometimes you'll hear new things because I tend to give you the broad strokes. I don't get into all the details of everything because that would be a very long video. And I don't know if I even have the attention span to listen to it. So I'm going to dive in with our state of the planets. So as we kick off here, for June 1st, 2025, my friend, we have entered the about to enter the second half of the year. We're coming down to it. We're ending our second quarter. If you follow that, we are about to enter our summer season. So lots going on here in June. We kick off with our Sun conjunct Mercury here in Taurus. Yes, my friend, we are in Taurus season. And so we've got them at 20 degrees and 17 degrees. Mercury is pulling away. We saw that conjunction really happen in May and really keep full. We'll talk a little bit about it moving away very early into this month. And then we've got Uranus over here, 3 degrees in Taurus. We've got Chiron at 1 degrees Aries, which is also conjunct 1 degrees Venus as we kick off this month. So yes, we're going to talk about that one because you're probably getting some things coming forward, coming from the past. Let me just say, we've also got Neptune over here in Pisces, Saturn over here in Pisces. We've got our North Node in Aquarius. We've got Pluto over here in Capricorn retrograde, which if you've been experiencing some things over the past 30 days, well, yep, that makes sense. We've got our moon kicking off here in Leo. And we've got our Mars over here in Cancer. Mars will be moving out of Cancer. Not yet, but it will be moving out of Cancer. We're going to talk about that. And then we've got Jupiter over here in Gemini, bringing all of that curiosity. All right, so let's dive into our sun. And what's we're going to see this month with our sun, the transits for our sun. So, first off, that conjunction with Mercury here, we're going to see that fall off on the 3rd of June. We'll see that fall off. Now we have as of the 3rd of June. So, that's the last day there on the 3rd of June. You can see we are clear here, no connections to the sun for a few days. In fact, not until the 10th are we going to see anything really coming in. Now, we do have the nodes, and the nodes are going to come into effect when we talk about our full moon in Scorpio, which will happen on the 11th. But I do want to talk about this coming in right here on late on the 10th, and also here on with Mars. So we've got a sextile over to Chiron and a sextile over to Mars. So let's talk about both of those, because a sextile is a very cooperative energy. It's a very supportive energy. This is because we're talking about Chiron, so we already know we're talking about wounds. We're talking about things that may be coming up, past traumas, insecurities. Well, in particular, we're going to see, especially around leadership. We're also going to see, because we're talking about Chiron in Aries here, some leadership ideas. Also, some ideas of, your potential as either as a leader, your potential as someone who is taking these wounds and these things that are coming forward with your imagination, being able to reframe these, to move through these, to shift into something very, very powerful and very, very creative in your own unique way, in your own unique magic. Now, Chiron is going to be sextile the sun until the 23rd of June. So really good couple of weeks here where we're going to see some of this stuff coming forward. Now, we're also going to see some more with Chiron, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's move on to this Mars energy here. Mars comes in on the 11th, as I said. Now, Mars is more of that drive, motivation, that courage, that confidence, that physical strength that we have. So there's going to be a boost here because we're talking about the consciousness with the sun and our personal self. So we're going to see this really boost in confidence. So if there's something that you're aiming to go for, something that you're ready to step into, which is a great combination with the Chiron and the Mars. So fueling that wound, fueling that new perspective around it, the energy shift, you're going to be able to take more action or new action or feel more empowered, more confident. My friend, this is why we do the inner work. This is why we do that work, so that we can shift away those old stories and not have it be so stingy as maybe it once was before. If you've been having trouble tackling difficult projects, this is a good time because you have that boost of energy and vitality to really push through them. This is also a good time to start a new project. So if there's a new project that you're wanting to do, something new that's coming up for you, this would also be a good time. It's a really productive, successful outcome type energy. So really being productive, stepping into your authority, stepping in with a very direct impression or directness is going to come through here. So let's keep moving on with our sun. You'll see it's at 26 degrees here, but it will be moving into Gemini. We're going to end our season of Taurus and move into Gemini late on June 14th. Now, Gemini, whenever we talk about our sun moving through Gemini, first off, we want to know that this is, or note that this is an air energy. So consciousness, sun is our focus is going to be more in our thinking, our communication. Those are the way we process information. That is key when we're talking about Gemini here, and in particularly air zodiac signs, which Gemini is. Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, so we'll also see those themes that Mercury rules over, which include now short travel, right? So we've got our thinking, excuse me, our thinking, our communication, our processing of information. We've got short travel, our community, our neighborhoods, more specifically like our neighbors, but then also our siblings, right? Our siblings. And so Mercury, Gemini, we have this mutable energy, which gives Gemini its uniqueness of not only curiosity, but that adaptability and flexibility, which is a lot of the times people like that kind of what is it, like that bad, not bad way, but like that way of calling Gemini like, oh, they're two-sided, right? There's two sides to them. It's because they are adaptable and flexible. It's because they can move. It's an air energy. They can move with things where some of us that are more earth energy, we can get stuck in things. They're able to move through things. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind. It's a really powerful ability to be able to move through things and not just get stuck on something. And that's really the beauty of Gemini. Now, keep in mind, my friend, that when I'm talking about Gemini and you're like, oh, I'm not a Gemini, so I don't need to listen to this. We all have Gemini in us. When we look at our natal chart, we all have Gemini. So this part of your chart is going to be activated while the sun moves through Gemini. So I would look at your chart, look for where Gemini is on your chart, and then look what house it's ruling over, because that'll tell you some of the themes of what may be coming up for you over the next 30 days. Now, the sign for Gemini is the twins, right? Again, it's that two sides or two perspectives. And so it's able to see different perspectives and be able to adapt and flex with its environment. It's one of the really beautiful things. So you can look at your chart and say, where do I have that ability to be flexible and adaptable in my life, right? Is this yourself? Like, are you like a Gemini rising? And you can really be able to show people flexibility and adaptability. Is this around money? And you can be flexible and adaptable with changing times. Is it in your communication and how you communicate? It is in the work that you do. Is it in the things that you create where you have that? Is it in transformation? Maybe that comes really easily for you to move through different modalities. Is it the energy of community? And so you are flexible and adaptable with all kinds of different people, communities, or be able to flex into different communities. This is my friend. This is why we look at this, right? To know, where is this energy for me? And then also look at, one of the things I love to do every season is look at, okay, where are some things, some restrictions, some belief systems that may be outdated, old patterns, old habits around these ideas that I can work on, I can look at, I can move through and make new decisions around. We'll talk more about this when we talk about our full moon in Scorpio and our new moon in Gemini. But definitely you can start to feel, right, some of the things that are starting to come out. The tarot card, so I love to pull the tarot card and just really sit with it, and that is the Lovers. So the Lovers is the tarot card for Gemini. And this, a lot of people look at the Lovers and it's like, oh, it's partnership, it's a connection, it's a relationship. The Lovers is actually the two sides of masculine and feminine working together. Okay. So this is, I want you to think of that. Where does your masculine energy, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, where are those energies coming in for you? How do they work? Do you lean in to one over the other? It's something. I was having a conversation with some friends earlier today, and that was one of the things that came up is, as she's calling in her divine masculine partner, it was she's working through her divine feminine as well as her divine masculine to be able to attract, right, a divine masculine partner. All right, the chakra that Gemini rules over, so something for you to work with and maybe connect into, is the throat chakra. The throat chakra, a lot of the times, being that communication, speaking our truth. So, a lot of the times, I will look at ideas of where have I blocked my truth? Where have I been afraid to speak up about? What have where did I, something that's come up for me recently is being um, muffled in a way, like not being able to speak my own truth or being shut down for maybe speaking something as a kid that I saw or felt into intuitively and it being like shot down. And so that's something, right, that I can work through. And there's tons of things I would highly recommend. You can ask ChatGPT, you can go on Pinterest. There are tons of throat chakra rituals that you can do. We do have some rituals that are around the throat chakra in our spring guidebook, so you can definitely check that out. There are some of the key words are curious, inquisitive, articulate, versatile, open-minded. There is some impatience here, restlessness, a little scatterbrained, and definitely talkative. We see Gemini energy being very, very talkative. You can always spot a Gemini because they love to talk. They're very curious and love to share information. I like to call them the social butterfly of the zodiac. All right. If you want to learn more about the Gemini Zodiac, definitely download the spring guidebook. You can find that down below in the description in the show notes. And you can also listen to the podcast episode that will be coming out in June that talks all about Gemini Zodiac and how to work with it this season. All right, let's move on. We're going to keep on keeping on to a transit, an aspect that is happening with Saturn. All right, so we come into this square over here on the 15th with Saturn. So Saturn is, I often say, you've heard me say this, the father of the zodiac, right? It is the disciplinary, it is the boundaries, it shows us our restrictions. And so, which is right? We want to know, beautiful. We want to know where our limitations are so that we can work within them, work through them, evaluate them. And so some of the things that we might see is pessimism, maybe even getting into depressive states of like hopeless. I often say Saturn is like that dark cloud, and you can't quite shake the cloud. It's like, why is everything, why is it all dark? Like, why is it heavy? Why is it hard? Why does it feel so restrictive? And as much as I'm an optimist, oftentimes when this transit happens, which will be from the 15th of June to the 28th, that potentially could be a little bit more of a burdensome. I might feel a little bit, might be harder, right, for me. So there's things that I can do that I know that help perk me up. One of those things is going and sitting out in the sun, going and sitting out in the sun, grounding on the earth, right? Getting my feet into some dirt or to definitely some grass, feeling that grass, connecting to a tree, connecting to some water. We have the river here locally to where I live, but there's, the ocean, a lake, whatever water you can get to, highly, highly recommend. There is a lot of criticism or even demands, especially from those who may be authority figures in our life. So we might see some of that. We might see some rejection or isolation. We might want to isolate ourselves during this time. So be mindful of, you might want to like take a step back. You might not want to participate in things because you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, right? And I want you, my friend, to trust yourself. If this is where we're going to be moving into summer, and summer season is a very active, high energy season. And so you've got to take care of you. If you are, not feeling it, right? Then make sure that you take care of you in whatever way that is. Now, this isolation is going to be temporary. Okay. That's what I want you to keep in mind. It's about 13 days here and it is temporary, this period. So if you're like, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. Yeah, no, shoulda, woulda, couldas. We make decisions on, does this feel good for me to do or does it not? Is this helping me be the best version of myself or is this not? That is a lot harder, my friend, to do than, going out and then maybe regretting it. So that's going to be my advice to you with this transit in particular. All right, let's move on to a conjunction we're going to see right here on the 16th with Jupiter. So we said earlier that Jupiter was in Gemini. Jupiter moved into Gemini in March. And so March, I think it was March. I could be getting that wrong, but I believe it was March. And now that we have the sun here, this is going to spruce things up a bit. Now, although we have this aspect of Saturn, which is really pointing some things out, which can feel like a heavy cloud, I don't want you to think I'm contradicting myself here because I want you to think this is playing in the background. However, this really powerful energy of Jupiter, who is super optimistic, who is like, let's go, let's do this, energy coming through with the sun. So I want you to think of it like this, my friend. This is how I try to keep this as simple as we possibly can. Jupiter and the sun. So Jupiter is home. The sun comes and visits Jupiter for a couple of weeks. And the Jupiter is having maybe some problems with Saturn, or the sun is having problems with Saturn. That's probably a better way to put it. The sun is having problems with Saturn. And so it comes and Jupiter's like that friend that is like super happy and super optimistic. Sun walks in and is like, wanting to be that fun, curiosity, social, flexible, adaptable energy. But it's got this issue with Saturn over here. Saturn's been telling it this, or Saturn's having it feel this certain way. And so you're like wanting to have this fun and do this thing. And you're here with Jupiter, your friend, who is like, you got this and you can do it, is encouraging you to go big and do the thing, but you still kind of have this pull. That's what these three connected can feel like. Like you're wanting to do the thing, you're wanting to go out or learn something or connect with people, but you're also kind of feeling like, maybe some insecurities are coming out, but there's this, but there's that. So I want you to keep that in mind because it could definitely mess with you, right? You're like, but I'm feeling this pull, but then there's this, right? And that's what this trio here is really pulling for us. Okay. It's making sense. I hope this is making sense. I hope that little scenario there helped you. Okay. So this energy, so with the sun coming to visit Jupiter, and it's going to be there from the 16th of June to the 2nd of July. So a couple of weeks here. This is new projects are also really good during this time. So we've got a couple of times this month that are really good to start some new projects, building, connecting with personal and professional relationships as well, personal development, professional development. This is also really good opportunities to grow. Jupiter loves to grow and learn and expand its energy. So expansion is a big key theme here. So whether that's relationships, whether that's your wealth, whether that's your business goals or your personal ambitions, this is also really good energy to expand things, which we'll also see with our lunar energy. Some things that I will point out here with Jupiter, though, is Jupiter, because it likes to magnify things, because it likes to expand its energy, we could be overcommitting to things. And I see that a lot, especially when these transits happen, is that people start to overcommit. I get into it myself where I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. And it's like, oh, wait. And then it comes down and my introverted self is like, that's too much, right? I can't do it. And then I have to like back out of things or I have to say, no, I can't do things. And that feels even worse, right? So then it's like, so I want you to consider that during this period here, towards the end of, the latter half of June, you might be wanting to say yes to all the things, or, commit to things and then it's like, oh, and that's where a lot of times people will say with Gemini, oh, you're being a little two-faced. Well, when we have these two energies together, even more so. It could feel like that, not the case, but it could feel like that. All right, let's talk about the connection over here to Neptune. That is the final one I want to talk about that came in here also on the 16th with that conjunction to Jupiter. Now, Neptune is that really dreamy state. It is that intuitive state. It is that like really getting into other realms kind of idea. This will be a little bit harder for us to do the work. And when I say the work, not only the inner work, but any work. So the physical, tangible things that you need to get done, it's almost as if you're like, I could do that tomorrow, right? In fact, this video here, I was like, should I record it now or should I record it a couple of days from now, right? I was wanting to push it off and push it off. And I'm like, nope, let's do it now. And here I am recording this now. This is kind of that energy with Neptune where you're like, and so this is just going to be here for about a week. And so I want you to, or actually a little bit more than a week. So I want you to keep this in mind that you might not have the motivation to do some things. You might get a little like, I'd rather just kind of chill out and maybe just go have fun with friends and not actually do the work that I probably should be doing. The other thing I want you to look at here is over idealizing things, looking at things through rose colored glasses. That is such a Neptune thing. So you just want to be mindful of that. All right, let's talk about our lunar energies this month. In particular, we're going to talk about our full moon in Scorpio, and then we're going to talk about our new moon in Gemini. So our full moon, we're going to see here on the 11th of June. And we've got a couple of things happening. We've got a trine over here to Chiron, a trine over here to Mars. We've got the square with the nodes. Now, the nodes, I want you to keep in mind, are not asteroids, planets. They are mathematical points in relation to the moon. And so we often will see this square happen on our full moons. So this is influencing us in a couple of different ways. One of the main themes that I'm really feeling and seeing with this particular full moon in Scorpio is, first off, we're looking at the opposition of Taurus and Scorpio. So they are direct opposites as far as the zodiac's concerned. And so we see very different ideas with a similar foundation between these two. And so just like with an Aries and Libra, where it's like the me versus we see that same kind of idea and concept whenever we look at other oppositions as we do here with our full moon. And when I say opposition, that means they are on opposite sides of each other. Okay, this is the death, because we're talking about Scorpio, the death, the sacred death of who you thought you should be or who you think you have to be so that your true soul power can come into play here, can rise from the ashes and claim its rightful place in this world. This full moon, my friend, such a beautiful phoenix moment for us. This is where our transformation becomes a great ally. Okay. So let's talk a little bit because, whenever we're talking about Scorpio, we're deep, we're intense, we're going in, we're rising from the ashes. And so there is that challenge with the lunar nodes because it is a square, right? Anytime we have a square, it's a little bit of a challenge here. So this is creating a bit of a crossroads for us, a crossroad moment where we are looking at who are we stepping into? Who do I need to be? Who do I need to be is a good question for you. Who do I need to be in order to have the things that I desire? And so it's also as if this old, outdated identity of who you thought you had to be, or maybe who you stepped into this year, like, I'm going to do this. And maybe there's been some wavering, maybe some things have happened that have shifted that for you, where you're like, okay, who am I now? Who do I now choose to be? What part of me is dying off? What part of me am I letting go of so that this new version of myself can step into the higher calling? There's an upgrade loading, my friend. The trine to Chiron. So let's talk about this trine to Chiron. This is bringing some healing to the surface. So the wisdom that we see in healing, whenever we're doing healing work, there is wisdom that comes through. This is what I see in stage 2 and stage 3 in the healing journey, in the 4 stages of healing. In stage 2, the understanding, and stage 3, the forgiveness and letting go. This is where I see a lot of the wisdom coming through. And that's what Chiron's bringing in for us. It's bringing that wisdom from the wounds, from the pain that we've had in the past. Okay. So the beauty of this though is that we've got Mars over here, Mars with that power, with that drive, with that strength to really help bring that courage to be able to move through this, to see what actions that we can now take based on what identity we're now choosing, or who we're now choosing to believe. Because any growth, my friend, that we're going to see is on an identity level. It is who we believe we are. That's where we're going to rise to. And if you don't believe that you are your highest version yet, then you're not going to act from that place. Or if you don't believe that you're the person that can start this business, or you're the person that can take this business to X amount of dollars a month, or the person that can attract these type of people, my friend, it's going to be really hard, really, really hard. So the question that I would ask is, what parts of your identity need to die for your true power to be reborn? What parts of your identity need to die for your true power to be reborn? All right, so there are a list of themes that I would love for you to explore during this full moon. And so what I've done is I've created a really beautiful journal. It's a lunar journal for you for June in particular. And it's going to walk you through some of these themes that we've talked about with this full moon and the new moon that are coming up. And it's got journal prompts galore that you can explore. I think it's about 50 pages long. I'm absolutely love it. It came out really good. And I was really called to pull this forward for you. And so I want you to go and get it, download it. It's absolutely free. You can go down below and go to Lunar Journal at thepeaceteacher.com/Lunar Journal, and you can get it, download it right there. Okay. Next up. Oh, and if you're already on my email list, then you already got it, my friend. It was in this email where this video was. All right. Next up, let's talk about that new moon. So we've got the new moon coming in here at the edge of the month on the 25th. And this is at 5:31 a.m. Central Time. So adjust according to your time zone. So we've got a couple of things, as you can see. We've got that conjunction we talked about earlier with Jupiter. Now we've got the moon in there, and they're all here at 9 degrees. The energy of 9 is all about endings, my friend. We've got a square over here to this conjunction with Neptune and Saturn, and a sextile over here to this Mars energy. So this is the bridge between your divine wisdom, your divine vision, your divine seeing, and what is tangibly here, the manifestation. So bringing the ethereal into the material manifestation, into this realm, using your voice, using your authentic communication. There is the birthing, and it's really beautiful here because we're releasing the old identity with the full moon, and we're stepping into the new way of communicating, the new way of bringing that vision, that divine vision into our reality through our authentic communication. Okay, so this is birthing our truth through sacred communication, being that divine channel. So, this is a portal for us of communication revolution, communication shifting. This conjunction with Jupiter, we're being invited to set an intention where our voice can expand, where our vision can increase. One of the things that, and I just realized I'm probably not sharing my screen, so let me do that as I say, this beauty here, there we go, you can see it now. This is such a beautiful opportunity for us to expand that vision. Sometimes we get stuck in like, I can only do this or I can only do that. And that is based on that old identity, right? And so we've shifted that with that full moon. So now we can be here at this new moon and allow that bigger vision to come through. My friend, if you've got a vision right now, how can you double that vision? How could you 10x that vision? If you've ever read that book, 10x is better than 2x, something around that nature, such a great book. I highly recommend it for anybody that is an entrepreneur. 10x is easier than 2x. We often want to 2x our output or our income, but actually when we 10x it, it makes the 2x super easy. And so this is where we can expand that vision 10x and be able to allow that authentic communication to come through. So one of the things that the Neptune energy. So let's talk about this Neptune energy and the Saturn energy, because they're conjunct here, right? So they're hanging out. We've got the Sun and Jupiter, right? They're hanging out at Jupiter's house. Moon comes in, stays for a day, and then exits out. While we've got Neptune and Saturn in another house, right? They're in another Airbnb, holding it down, connecting with each other. I love these analogies. Do you? I do. All right. So the square to Neptune is calling for the intention that's bridging our inspiration, our clear discernment, which we're getting with that Saturn energy, where it is building that foundational structures. Saturn is those foundational pieces, but all around our communication and our gifts of communication, whatever your gift is in communication. Some of us are writers. Some of us are really good writers. Some of us are speakers. We speak, right? We get on stages and we feel at home there. Some of us are great on video, right? It's much easier for me, my friend, to sit here and do a video than to type a blog. Thank you for AI, who has helped me now be able to take my own words, my own transcript from these videos and be able to create a blog coming soon to a website near you. The sextile to Mars is giving that perfect energy to set our intentions in a very courageous and inspired way so that we can expand that vision, expand our authentic expression. All right. So again, we've got themes here that you can dive more into, like your visionary voice expansion, your divine message, clarity, your authentic authority building, courageous truth telling. As you kind of journal through these, we've got journal prompts for each one of these themes and ideas. Again, download down below, download that June Lunar Journal. Go to thepeaceteacher.com/Lunar Journal. Okay, let's talk about, I wanted to go into like that song, but we're not. We're going to talk about Mercury. So I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen, but I'm going to reshare my screen. I'm going to adjust and we're going to talk about Mercury. So I want to go back here to the very beginning of the month on the 5th, and we see a conjunction here. It's later in the day. There we go. Conjunction here with Mercury and Jupiter. So Mercury and Jupiter, as we noticed, remember, at the beginning of the month, we saw Mercury conjunct the sun. It was moving away. It comes up against Jupiter. It's going to pass Jupiter, and then the sun's going to come. I want to give you that visual because you're like, wait, you said, yep, I want to give you that visual because they're coming through. They're connecting. So before the sun came to visit Jupiter, we got Mercury there. So, and this is only, Mercury had a short stay because Mercury moves really fast. It was only about 6 days. So Mercury with Jupiter is such a really, again, positive energy, really great for hanging out leisurely, right? Allowing ourselves to broaden our minds through learning something, taking a class, taking something that maybe you purchased in the past, because I know I've done this and I've put on the back burner, right? Or I filed away in my Google Drive. It's time to bring that back out, my friend, because oftentimes we're going to look for something else. And I'm going to say, first off, it's right here. It's inside you. You've got all the answers. Sometimes we do need something externally to trigger that from within. And so go and look and see before you make that next purchase. I need to like stop sharing my screen for a second. Before you make your next course purchase or freebie download, go and search what you already have, because you probably already have something. Okay. You probably already have something. Go and search. I don't know how many times I have commented a word on Instagram only to find it in my messages that I already downloaded or I've already asked for that link. My friend, I know I'm not the only one. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Okay. Moving forward, we've got Mercury and Venus. So as we saw here, whoops, didn't want to do that. Mercury, we've got our sextile over here to Venus. Now, Venus is conjunct Chiron here, which is bringing up some relationship stuff. But let's talk a little bit about this Mercury and Venus, because this is a sextile. So this is very collaborative energy. There's a lot of harmony, socializing energy here, social skills, having that charm, feeling really good, doing things that are moving things forward. Business is really favored, like making offers and connecting with people during this time is really, really good. Growing your network, growing your community, definitely really good. And if there has been any conflicts, this is also a good time to resolve it, because we've got that Mercury energy with Jupiter. We've also got the sextile with Venus. And it's just like we could really resolve some conflicts, inner and outer. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is Mercury is going to be moving, as we see here, it's moving into Gemini on the 6th. Now, it's actually late on the 5th, but we're going to say the 6th here since it's here. When Mercury moves into Gemini, it is, man, it's at home here. It rules Gemini. So all that really social, fun, curious energy is going to be coming through here. Now, the one thing I will say is lots of thinking, lots of thoughts. We already got our sun here, and now we've got our Mercury here, tons of thoughts, and we've got Jupiter here. Whew, lots of thinking. Distractions, you're probably going to get distracted really easy. It's probably going to be hard for you to stay on track. So whatever you can put in place for yourself to help you refocus, to help you bring things back, right? It's like the ADD. There you go, ADHD, both of those. It's like those on steroids. It gets really crazy during this time, especially for somebody who's not used to that. So somebody who's more of an earth energy, water energy, it can get a little bit like, oh, what is going on, unless you've got certain placements in your chart where that energy is activated, like having a Mercury in an air energy. So I would highly recommend keeping yourself grounded, doing things that you can do, like those practices, those habits that you have that can help you refocus. Don't get, give yourself some grace, my friend. Don't get frustrated with yourself because you started one thing and then you went to another thing and then you totally forgot what you were doing before. And then you realize you left the milk out. My friend, it could happen. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is then it's going to be in Gemini until the early morning of the 22nd. It's going to move out of Gemini. And so we can come over here. So it's in there for only a few weeks. It's going to move out and move into Cancer. And we're going to shift the game here as it moves out of Cancer and into, moves out of Gemini and into Cancer. So when it's in Cancer, which it will be here all the way till the 17th of July. So we'll see this in into July, and then it's going to go retrograde. So we are preparing for our retrograde. So we're not going to see that pre-shadow period start until the end of June on June 30th, but we are preparing for our next retrograde in Cancer on July 18th, which will run through August 10th. So keep that in mind. If you are traveling anytime between the 30th of June through pretty much the end of August, like about the 28th, 27th, 28th of August. Anytime, if you're going to be traveling during that time, keep in mind, friend, there could be some delays. Make sure that you are staying really grounded during this, getting things prepared ahead of time, and be flexible and adaptable for change. Now, Mercury in Cancer, we're going to be in here for a while. Mercury in Cancer really is much more nurturing and loving. So from that social energy, that connection energy of learning something and sharing it, wanting to fuel your mind, being very distracted, the energy is going to go about nurturing, supportive. It's going to be emotional. Even your communication may start to slow down a bit. You might feel into things a little bit more, or you're wanting to share more intimately with people. You're wanting to connect more with people in more of a deeper way, not so much in a, oh, I got this thing I want to share you, and it be quick and fast. It's more deep, okay? Deep and solid. All right. Moving on to the last thing I want to talk about that comes in on the very end of the month here on the 25th with Mercury. And there's a lot of other things happening with Mercury, but we're just going to talk about these because we'll talk about the other ones in our weekly transits. So be sure to subscribe so that you can hear all about those. But we've got a opposition to Pluto. Opposition to Pluto. Whenever we're talking about Pluto, we know it's deep, we know it's transformative. So what does that look like? And this is coming from the 25th of June all the way to July 4th, 4th of July, my friend. This is a battle of ideas. This is where the internal conflicts, this is where the debates, this is where we focus intensely on a problem or a concept, an idea of some sort, whether that's an internal battle, an internal debate, or an external debate. There's the battling of ideas here. Okay. We've also got deep research that can happen here because Mercury loves to learn things and Pluto loves to go deep. So you might be, we might see, first off, uncovering of information that may have been hidden. We also may be interested in diving in and discovering maybe information that has been hidden. There's a lot of mental energy here. And so we want to use that for good. And maybe we want to look at maybe deepening some of our insights. Really great time to, especially with Mercury being in Cancer here, to do some deeper work, to be able to allow yourself to go deep, to get to the root cause, to get the themes and the stories and the ideas and the decisions that you made on an unconscious level when some of these things maybe that's happened to you that formed these identities or formed these beliefs that you have that are affecting your growth, that are affecting why you're not taking action on something or why you're not implementing the strategy that your coach, your life coach, or your business coach has told you, right, to do. Maybe you're not acting upon that. And so you can use this to do that. I do want to say that there are some manipulative energies that can come through with this. That being, because we're talking about Pluto and it can be a little bit dark, it can be, it's very powerful. And so we might see some of that psychological intimidation, propaganda, mind control, collective hypnosis, coming through. So I want you to be mindful, be very intentional, notice, do your due diligence of any information that may be coming out during this time, because it could be some type of manipulative strategies. All right, my friend, that is all I have to say about Mercury. So let's move on to Mars. Now, Mars is going to be in Cancer until the 6th of June. It will move out of Cancer and it will move into Leo. So we're going to see this shift right here happen late in the day, actually, probably afternoon, late afternoon, evening on the 6th of June. So we're going to move out of that Cancer into the Leo energy. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are happening. And let me tell you about Mars in Leo. So Mars in Leo, and I hate that it's like not showing Leo. There you go. Mars in Leo transforms our drive and our motivation from more of the heart-centered expression into more of a survival. This is about doing things with flair, doing things with passion, doing things with our authentic self expression. Leo rules over our heart, our creativity, our leadership, our sovereignty. And so Mars here ignites that motivation to act from core truth, not the external pressures that maybe we felt in Cancer, but more so our core truth. So you might see your confidence being fueled by action, by doing things, right? I say this all the time that when you do something, that's where the confidence builds. Like we don't wait around. It's not like confidence is going to drop down and be like, okay, now I've got confidence. I can go do the thing. No, 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 no. You get confidence by doing the thing, my friend. If you are scared to go speak on stages, if you're scared to post on social media, you can't overcome that until you actually do it. Now, do we need to look at your visibility bones? Do we need to look at why the belief is that it's not safe or it's this or whatever it might be around visibility? Absolutely. We also then take the action. We also want to do that. And Mars being here in Leo can definitely help you now step into that visibility, step into it in a much bigger way. Courage, we've got that courage here. It's heart centered. So we've got that ambition do the things that light us up, do the things that we're passionate about, do the things that bring us joy, and really approaching things. Somebody, a friend of mine is working on her health journey right now, and it's kind of frustrating, right? It's kind of frustrating to her. It's like, oh, these limitations and this and that. And it's like, how can you make that fun? How can you make it joyful? How can you bring lightheartedness to the thing? Whatever you're feeling, my friend, is heavy or hard. How can you bring more joy and lightness to it and make it fun? Why does it have to be hard? Why does transformation have to be hard? Why does it have to be complicated? It doesn't. It really doesn't. All right, let's look at some of the Mars transits. We've got, we talked about the Mars and Chiron. So let me come over here. We talked about the Mars and Chiron in our last forecast that we did for last week, which was the week of the 27th? Let me look at my calendar because I don't know the 26th. There we go. Because the week of the 26th, May 26th. So that is going to be a falling off here. At the end of the month on the 21st. But I want to talk about some ones that are starting this month, which in particular, the first one being this square over here to Uranus. So let's talk about this square over here to Uranus, because Uranus loves to rebel, loves to shake things up, loves to bring that freedom energy in here. So this will be from June 2nd through June 26th. So a feeling, an urge, like this desire to break free from restriction, to rebel, especially against anything that you're feeling is an authority figure. You're wanting to break free from that. We can act a little rashly. We can not really think about the consequences, right? Not think about the things down the line. It's like, oh, I just want to act. I just want to do. My friend, I'm gonna caution you, don't do it. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Figure out there's probably a trigger in there of some sort. There's a need that needs to be met in some way, shape, or form. Take a look at that. But I just want to give you that heads up. There is that tendency to act a little bit rashly here. Breaking through things that you might have been struggling with, being innovative or creative. This is definitely with Uranus. You want to make sure that there is a lot of energy and it can be a little erratic and kind of all over the place. So anything you can do to ground that energy in throughout the month, because it could get a little chaotic here. I'm gonna invite you to do that. Do your daily rituals, do your daily practices to help you ground, to help you stay centered in your own self, in your own truth, for sure. Again, with this compared to some of the other things that I said with Mercury, again, and our sun being in Gemini, all of that energy in Gemini, lack of attention, concentration. So just be mindful, because we don't want to lead that. We don't want that to lead to any accidents. So like, put your phone down. Don't look at your phone. Don't put it in drive mode. Don't look at those texts. You can look at them, the responses, when you get to your destination, or pull over, my friend. I know it's hard. Trust me. I've caught myself and I'm like, Danie, stop. All right. We've also got Mars and Jupiter here on the 4th, and this is coming in through the 8th of July. So it's got this for a full month here. Mars and Jupiter, these guys are again, sextile, very, very friendly energy, very supportive energy. So strong, courageous. We talked about that energy earlier. So we've got more of that here, able to handle some of the difficult tasks. Really good here. Competitive energy here, wanting to make things competitive or battle. Let's do that in a very healthy way, because competition is actually really good and fun and motivating for a lot of people. Just make sure we're doing it in a very healthy way. New ventures are great. This is also high energy for working hard, like play hard, work hard type energy, which is what I love, because Mars like work, 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 and Jupiter's like play, play, play. And so they're kind of coming together for that. All right, those are our Mars transits. Let's talk about a few that we have. We have a few with Venus. So let's talk about Venus here. First off, we've got some transits with Venus that will be falling off at the beginning of this week, in particular that Venus trine Mars, which we've had all the way since March, that will be falling off. We also have Chiron, Venus and Chiron are going to finally move apart on the 7th here. And then we also have that sextile with Jupiter falling off here on the 12th. So we'll see that shift out. And now I want to talk about Venus did shift into Aries on the 31st, and it is going to be in Aries all the way through the 29th. Now, I did talk about this already, but I do want to bring it in here just because it is going to be throughout our entire month. So I want to bring that reminder here for you that Venus is going to be in the Venus is our energy of love, money, our values, our creative expression, beauty, right? It rules over these really beautiful ideas. Now, Aries is a fire energy. It is very independent. It is that pioneering spirit, it is that warrior energy. And so when these two come together, we have this warrior of the heart coming through. So we've got passionate independence. We've got much more direct communication. There is no beating around the bush here when we're talking about our relationships, when we're working with our relationship with money or relationship with love or relationship with beauty or art or creativity, right? There is definitely some really beautiful energy here with this. We're not waiting around here for things to happen. We're taking ownership of them. We're stepping into them. We're leading them. So if you are looking at maybe your romantic relationships, you might see some more directness. You might see some more taking the charge in the relationship. If you're looking if you're dating, right? Again, there's some spontaneity here. Definitely like whim type stuff, fast, quick type stuff that can be very romantic, but it's unpredictable. Okay. I want you to keep that in mind. It can be unpredictable. So it can be exciting, but yet it could very much be unpredictable. There's an attraction to confidence here. So you might be starting to show up more confidently, or you're drawn to people who definitely embody that confidence as well. All right, so let's talk about a couple of other things, which is the square over here to Pluto that kicks in on the 3rd of June. And then I want to talk about the conjunction with Uranus that comes in at the end, and that will be our final transit for this forecast for June. Okay, so this square here with Venus and Pluto is power and control, power and control in our relationships. And this is in our personal relationships, our like intimate relationship, our friendships, as well as our relationship to things, relationship to money, relationship to our value, relationship to what we bring to the table. So there could be some things that have been kind of simmering that are ready to come forward, that are ready to rise up. So if there has been anything in the relationship that there has been some conflict in or unresolved things, they are going to come up. And we might see some jealousy here, manipulation, some possessiveness coming through. So those deeply buried insecurities coming up. So whether that's in the relationship or around yourself, your values. So be very careful, my hair. Be very careful. There's definitely an opportunity to transform the relationships here. There's definitely an opportunity to like reestablish some things here in the dating scene. Again, be very, very careful because of this energy right here, and this is the 3rd through the 14th. The energy can be really great and spontaneous and exciting, but there could definitely be some hidden agendas in there. So I want you to be very, very careful when when you're moving through this energy. Okay, last one is our Venus and Uranus. So on the 29th here of June, we're going to see the conjunction here with Uranus. Now, Venus and Uranus, and this is till the 9th. So the 29th through the 9th, so about 10 days. This is bringing that excitement, that change, that freshness as it relates to love, money, right? Those ideas of we've been talking with Venus. Here, there's excitement or stimulation, something needing to change here, to shift things up, especially where things have been stagnant. So if there is anything that has been stagnant in your relationships, in love, in money, in the value or the things that you value, if there's just like, oh, it's a routine, it's mundane, wanting to shake things up, this is definitely that transit that's going to want to do that and shake some things up. Creativity is really, really high during this time. Allowing yourself to see things differently, to bring in new ideas, really, really great, or new like uniqueness to something, really great. Unexpected social, because Venus is a very social sign, social interactions, being invited to places or receiving things, gifts of some sort could also be something that we see here too. All right, my friend, that is it. There is a lot going on here. As I said, we've got some retrogrades coming up in July, which we talked about, the one that is coming with Mercury, but we've also got Neptune, and Saturn that will be going retrograde in July. So stay tuned for that forecast coming out on July 1st. But my friend, be sure to check out all the links down below for all the things that I mentioned in this video. Be sure to subscribe and get those weekly forecasts so that you can know what's happening week to week. And stay tuned for more on the channel. We've got the Rise and Align episodes that come out on Wednesday, which is our channeled message for the week, along with a somatic breathwork practice that you can do. They're about 20 minutes of breath work and about 20 minutes of downloading of a channeled message. So it's about a 40-minute video, but there's chapters in there, and so you can skip ahead to what you want to see. All right, my friend, until next time, enjoy the journey and remember to keep shining your unique light.